to the opening address, for which I request Mr. R.S. Subramanian. So I request you to kindly come forward for the opening address.
It is said that behind every great leader, there is an even greater logistician. Honorable Minister of State, Shri Babul Supriyo, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This forum has always been an engaging platform for everybody from the supply chain and logistics industry. Over the last few years, in the industry, we're looking forward to this day, where we can really interact with the industry and gives an opportunity for the industry to bring together some new ideas and thoughts and challenges on the table. The economic benefits of continuing to expand trade could be very, very large. So I want to quote some figures here. The recent World Economic Forum study reported that the world GDP can increase by 4.7%. That's huge. And the global trade can grow by 14.5%. If every country improved just two key supply chain barriers. Yeah, this is, I think, in any forum, I find that we always come to these two very, very important points. One is border administration, which is entry and exit, export and import barriers in the countries. And second is transportation and communication infrastructure. I think in all of which, this country is doing something, and in any forum, we always come to the conclusion that there can always be a lot more can be done and a lot more can be done faster. Yeah. India too is making rapid progress and is taking quite a lot of steps and quick strides to grow in prominence in the world trade. Few indicators are relevant to quote here. India improved its ranking in ease of doing business from 149 to 130. Yeah, it looks like a 15-20 point jump, but that I think is a real good task and the direction to move. The Indian logistics market is expected to grow at a CAGR of 12.2% by 2020. Yeah, 12.2% at a national level is a big push, and largely driven by manufacturing, retail, FMCG, e-commerce. Yeah, I think during the day, these were the four sectors possibly which were on showcase and which was being discussed in the various breakaway sessions in the afternoon. The logistics industry spend in GDP terms in India is about 13%. Yeah, compared to a 7 to 8% in most of the developed countries. So this shows two things. It shows it's a huge opportunity. 118 to 120 billion is the size of the overall logistics spend. Yeah, and therefore, it just underlines the reason why there are forums like this where every year and every few months there are challenges and opportunities being discussed. And therefore, there's a huge potential. But the 13% and 8% also tell a story, which is that there is huge amount of efficiency gains to be had if the logistics, supply chains, infrastructure and the barriers which I spoke about, if they can improve. The Indian e-commerce marketplace is expected to grow and reach a size of $130 billion by 2025, possibly looking at the pace at which things are moving, it might reach this milestone faster. Yeah, these are all statistics, but these possibly will happen faster. But these are just some few indicators of the significant developments which we see recently, which point to the big potential of this, of the country as well as this sector and the growing demand from industry for logistics support. But despite the notable improvements, India continues to compare not so well in terms of connectivity within the country and also global connectedness. And the cost of logistics continues to be high, which is the 13% to 8% difference which I was underlying. Some of the blame lies in poor logistics infrastructure. And I think this government is very keen on changing that one particular aspect, which is a very good thing. As we discuss the growth of e-commerce, reverse logistics, transportation, warehousing, I think the focus comes back to the issue of ease of doing business, because all of them relate directly to ease of doing business. However, the state borders, international borders in India still are a big challenge, and therefore transaction cost is tied to that directly. Despite significant reforms which are being carried out in this space over the last few years, this is still a big stumbling block. Everyone today and in any forum in the last year or so is continuing to touch upon the topic of GST. And it's anybody's guess how fast and how quickly it will come. However, the government representatives who spoke earlier today and welcomed the feedback from the industry, I think GST is on the table repeatedly. The people behind the GST and GSTN are saying that industry should come forward and give feedback. I hope everybody who's here in the room and who were in the room earlier during the day are finding ways and means of giving the feedback back to the government, because this is a sea change which will come with GST. It's a one-of-a-kind reform which is happening in this market. And I think the feedback is important, and it will shape the quality of final shape in which GST will come. So therefore, my request is all of you, if you have a view and if you have a thought of how the GST should be, you should find every avenue to send feedback to the government on how the industry looks at the GST regulation. I think we've had a very interesting day today, a series of stimulating panel discussions and breakout sessions and workshops on the various industry sectors, on supply chain agility, e-commerce trends, pharma, FMCG, heavy engineering and manufacturing. All of them highlighted some key issues and challenges facing our industry, which need to be addressed in order to realize the vision which, as a government, we are hearing for the last 2 years, which is making India, doing business in India easy, but more importantly, being a global force as India going forward. And we can be a global powerhouse, and there is no denying the fact. So you might see today's news about Brexit, and there are a lot of short-term, immediate-term questions, but I think in all the analysis which some of you possibly have heard through the day about the macroeconomy, I think there is no denying the fact that the potential and long-term, even the medium-term potential of India is undeniably very, very strong. So I'd like to end with another quote, which I'm sure all of you will agree with, especially the people in this room, which is that the line between disorder and order lies in logistics. With this, I once again extend a very, very warm welcome to each of you here. We are gathered today, also today evening, to felicitate people who've done great contribution to supply chain and logistics industry. My congratulations to the award winners today evening for their exemplary achievements and efforts. And I'm sure we'll see more and more such events and such felicitations happening in future. Enjoy the evening. Thank you.